Hey crew, now I'm not going to lie, I was pretty speechless when testing things out with this build because just look what we do to these three champions. We literally just run straight into every single champion and enemy in the Grandmaster and we just royally stasis them all in the... Well, I'll let you guys finish that with your imagination. But I was so impressed with this setup because it tore through the Corrupted Grandmaster last week, which you will see about halfway through the video. And this week we have the Inverted Spire Grandmaster and double loot, and we were clearing it between 10 to 12 minutes with these stasis builds. And if you commit to this setup and build, you will have a ton of fun. I can guarantee you that. The hunter on our team was running my Dusk build I posted 2 days ago, so if you're interested in that and haven't seen it, then make sure to give it a watch because it's close to this power level. There will be a dim link near the top of the description for you all to use and a full build pic in the video for you to screenshot if you like that route. Also, if you're new here and enjoy this video, then make sure to hit that subscribe button for me and become part of the crew here. And there's going to be some awesome Arc 3.0 builds that I will be pumping out for you guys in the new season, so get ready. Now, the first thing I want to touch on is weapons. You can use whatever weapons you want with this build. If you need to match a champion type or a shield type, do what you need to do for weapons. I had a lot of people asking me in my Duskfield Hunter build why I wasn't using Aegir Scepter, and that's because you can use it if you want, but I don't want to build a build around a certain weapon. That way it's more versatile and there's a lot of different things you can do with it, just like how I'm using Lament in the gameplay, and then you'll see later in the Corrupted gameplay that I'm using Fourth Horseman. Now there are a few weapons that help even more with the build, something like Risk Runner. If you take arc damage, right, you're gonna even get more damage reduction. You could do something like Lament, right, where you're hitting stuff and you're healing. You could also go with Aegir Scepter, so you have another avenue of freeze. There's a bunch of different options. I was using Fourth Horseman in the Corrupted. Fighting Lion is actually really good with this. Dead Messenger can one-shot an entire wall of stasis crystal, so that's really nice. Teraba in its overcharged form can just tear through anything, so you have a bunch of different options there, so keep your mind open when it comes to weapons. Now let's go over the Titan subclass, the behemoth of a build here, and of course you're using Glacier Quake. It's actually a better super than you think. The stasis crystals create so much damage, so when you slam it and just right click the ground and create all the stasis, run through them, slide through them, break them up, because that's going to cause a ton of damage to your enemies. You could even throw on something like the Titan Glaive and bubble things and do a shit ton of damage to enemies, right? So there's a lot of different options there. You want to be using Rally Barricade because we have a 30-second timer on it, and then we're going to do a couple things to get it back even faster. And then you want to be using Glacier Grenade, a grenade that creates a wall of stasis crystals to block damage and freeze targets. These walls can be shattered for damage. For the two aspects, we're going to be using Tectonic Harvest. Shattering a stasis crystal creates stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. This provides 2 fragments. We're going to also be using Howl of the Storm. While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to launch a wave of stasis energy forward that freezes targets and creates stasis crystals. This also provides 2 fragments, so we get a total of 4 fragments with the build. The first one is Whisper of Fissures. Increase the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. This was actually buffed, I believe it was 2 or 3 seasons ago, and the stasis damage does a lot more now, so do not underestimate how much damage the shattering of crystals can do. Next we have Whisper of Shards. Shatter a stasis crystal, temporarily boost your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals increases the duration of this benefit. We're always going to have this up. It's going to be a 10-second timer on your left hand side that's always going to be recharging your Glacier Grenade way faster. Next is Whisper of Chains. While you are near frozen targets or friendly stasis crystals, you take reduced damage from targets. This is a 40% damage reduction. And then we also have Whisper of Rhyme. Collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield, which fall off after 10 seconds. Collecting additional shards adds to the overshield and refreshes the timer. This also heals you if you don't have health, right? If you're like in the red bar, these shards will heal you. And as you can see in the gameplay, we're creating so many shards that you're probably going to always be running around with an overshield. Now for stats on the build, you want to hit 100 resilience. Again, this is your damage reduction and it's going to play into our barricade. 100 resilience, try to get your discipline up as high as you can, and then your third stat can be whatever you want. For me in the gameplay, I was running 100 discipline, 100 resilience, and 80 recovery. And from my last hunter video, I found out that damage reduction is actually multiplicative, which means when you get the 45% damage reduction basically from your 100 resilience, that means the 40% damage reduction from Whisper of Chains isn't going to be the actual 40% damage reduction. It's going to be a little less, right? But basically it's like 65% or 66%, so you're getting close to it. Then when you throw on chest piece armor mods for more damage reduction, and then you're also healing with Rhyme and overshielding with Rhyme and having that damage reduction stack on your overshield as well, Trust me, the damage reduction is there, as you can see in the gameplay. Now, our exotic of choice is going to be Hoarfrost Z. The armor perk here is Glacial Fortification. When using the Stasis subclass, your barricade becomes a wall of stasis crystals that slows nearby targets when created. Standing behind the barricade will grant you and your allies increased weapon reload speed, stability, and range. So we get the same benefits of a rally barricade, but now it is a crystal wall. The reason we're using this is because, one, it's going to slow and freeze targets when we use it, but it's also going to create all those stasis crystals for us. It's going to give us our grenade back much quicker because of Whisper of Fissures when we destroy it. It's going to give us our stasis shards so we can get that overshield and heal ourselves, and we can just stand by it and proc Whisper of Chains. So it's doing a bunch of different things for us. If you don't have it, you can run Heart of Inmost Light with this. Rowdy, a clan member of ours, ran Heart of Inmost Light and it worked just fine for him. He did a little bit more damage, but with Hoarfrost, you have more survivability. Now for the 5 main combat style mods, we're going to be using Elemental Charge, become Charged Light by picking up an Elemental Well. We're also going to be using Elemental Shards. Stasis Shards count as Stasis Elemental Wells. So now all these shards that we're creating on demand with our crystals, they're going to count as wells. So we're going to become Charged Light with those wells. Now, 2 of your other mods are going to be Firepower. So we're running ×2 Firepower with this build. While Charged with Light, regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade, consuming 1 stack of Charged with Light. That's going to give us about 40-45% of our grenade back when we throw our grenade. And then our 3rd mod for this is going to be High Energy Fire. While Charged with Light, gain a bonus to weapon damage. This consumes a stack of Charged with Light when you defeat a target. Now, if you don't want to use High Energy Fire there, you can put a Firepower in for a 3rd one. But the reason I was using it is because it made, when our weapons have High Energy Fire them, that damage bonus, that 20% damage bonus, it just makes destroying crystals that much easier. And since this build is built around destroying crystals, we want to make sure that we can pop all those crystals as fast as possible. For the rest of the mods, I was basically using either Sword Scavenger or Shotgun Scavenger, depending on what I was running, right? What GM I was running. And then in my chest piece, make sure you throw on the Armor of the Dying Star, reduce the incoming solar damage from combatants and void damage. You could throw on Concussive Dampener. You can throw on Arc Resist as well if you're doing something like the Corrupted. On the boots, I was using a Shotgun Scavenger or Sword Scavenger, whatever was needed. And then on the class item, that was my Stasis for Elemental Shards. I was also using Utility Kickstart there and doubling up on that. So when your class ability energy is fully expended, you gain class ability energy. That way, that class ability comes back very, very fast. As far as the gameplay for the build goes, guys, it's really, really easy. It's make a ton of Stasis Crystals everywhere, shatter and destroy those Stasis Crystals. Make sure you pick up all the Stasis little crystals that it leaves behind, because that's going to do a lot for your build, and just keep repeating this. Just throw your melee out, then barricade, then your grenade, shatter all, do all the damage you want to do, survive everything, pick up all the shards, and you're going to have your melee back so fast from picking up those shards that you can just keep recycling the build, and it's pretty simple. I hope you guys found this one helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. The last one on the list is the Warlock, so we'll get to that in the next video. Warlocks are just as good as the Hunter and Titan. They go about it a little different way, but can still freeze with the best of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still here, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.